Shen Congwen's The Border Town, a deep exploration. The poetic call of Xiangxi. Have you ever been deeply moved by a landscape, as if time stood still in that moment? Shen Congwen's The Border Town, like a watercolor painting of Xiangxi, transports us to the remote town of Chadong, where Cuicui and Nuosong's love story captivates and breaks our hearts. Published in 1934, why does this novel still enchant countless readers nearly a century later? It's not just a beautiful pastoral song but also a mirror reflecting humanity and its era. Let's step into Shen Congwen's Xiangxi and uncover the secrets of the border town. Born in 1892 in Fenghuang, Hunan, Shen Congwen's literary soul was shaped by Xiangxi's landscapes and folkways. As a boy, he witnessed the vibrant markets of Miao and Han people and heard the drums of dragon boat races, memories that inspired the border town. In Sheng travel sketches, he wrote, "I only want to build a small Greek temple to enshrine the beauty of humanity." Shen Congwen's writing was nourished by Xiangxi, a land he saw as his spiritual homeland. As a youth, he roamed the alleys of Fenghuang's ancient town, seeing Miao women's floral headscarves and Tujia hand-waving dances, images that took root in his heart. In Congwen's autobiography, he wrote, "Every mountain and river of Xiangxi flows in my veins." This deep regional bond makes The Border Town not just a novel but a letter to Xiangxi. Shen Congwen's literary ideal was to revive the soul of rural life through words, resisting the indifference of urban civilization. In a 1926 letter to Hu Shi, he wrote, "I want to write a clean beauty to counter this noisy world." This belief permeates the border town, making Chadong a spiritual haven far from materialism. A similar literary passion can be found in other writers. In the 19th century, American poet Walt Whitman, in Leaves of Grass, celebrated nature's grandeur and human sincerity, using poetry to resist industrial alienation. His line "I celebrate myself" echoes Shen Congwen's "I write the truth" of Xiangxi. The border town is Shen Congwen's song to himself and his homeland, embodying his yearning for a pure life. The border town is that small temple, enshrining Xiangxi's purity and nature. However, Shen Congwen's writing journey was not smooth. In the 1920s, he arrived in Beijing's literary scene, praised by Hu Shi and Zhu Himo, but marginalized by urban literati for his rustic roots. This sense of being an outsider drove him to focus on Xiangxi, using words to preserve a land untouched by modern civilization. Shen Congwen's childhood was filled with Xiangxi's wildness and freedom. He watched fishermen cast nets by Fenghuang's rivers and listened to Miao village songs at night, scenes etched in his memory. In 1923, he ventured alone to Beijing, living in cramped alleys, surviving on freelance writing, often facing rejections. In a letter to a friend, he wrote, "I came from Xiangxi with a pure heart, but no one cares." This loneliness and perseverance transformed into the border townie's devotion to purity. He portrayed Chadong as a utopia far from urban clamor, yet subtly expressed unease about modernization. Set in late Qing and early Republican Xiangxi, the border town tells of Cuicui, a girl living with her grandfather by a ferry, meeting Shen's sons, Tianbao and Nuosong, and missing love due to misunderstandings and fate. Though short, the novel paints Xiangxi's natural and human beauty with poetic strokes, reflecting on modern civilization. To understand the border town, we must enter Cuicui's heart, grasp Shen Congwen's Xiangxi culture, and see the clash of tradition and modernity in that era. Why is The Border Town a classic of modern Chinese literature? It's not only Shen Congwen's masterpiece but also touches readers' souls with its praise of human purity and concerns about modernity's erosion. In an interview, Shen Congwen said, "I wrote The Border Town to show people a clean way of life." This cleanliness is not just Xiangxi's ethos but the glow of humanity. Next, we'll explore Chadong's ethos, Cuicui's love, the White Tower's imagery, the clash of eras, characters' inner worlds, human philosophy, and the border townie's timeless value. 2. Chadong's ethos and customs. Chadong, a small town in Xiangxi's borderlands, nestles by mountains and rivers, with stilt houses lining the slopes and ferries gliding on emerald waters. In the border town, Shen Congwen wrote, Chadong lies by water and mountain. Tracing the river upstream a century ago would lead to Shenzhou. This town is not just the story stage but a microcosm of Xiangxi culture. To grasp the border town, we must first immerse in Chadong's ethos and feel its unique natural and human beauty. Chadong sits in Hongxi's Wuling Mountains, where Hunan, Guizhou and Chongqing meet, a historic home to Miao, Tujia, and Han peoples. In the late Qing and early Republic, it remained largely untouched by modern commerce, preserving a rich rural charm. Stilt houses, iconic to Xiangxi, are wooden structures built on slopes, with lower levels raised to prevent dampness and upper floors for living, often adorned with hanging chilies and corn, brimming with life. In Shang travel sketches, Shen Congwen described, from stilt houses, you see green hills and waters, people coming and going. These homes are not just dwellings but a harmonious bond between humans and nature. In the 1930s, architect Liang Siqing, after studying Xiangxi, praised stilt houses' ecological wisdom, noting their balance with the environment. Chadong's customs are vivid. The Dragon Boat Festival's races are a town highlight, with thundering drums and young men and women exchanging affections. Shen Congwen wrote, when drums sound, dozens of boats dart forward like arrows. These scenes showcase Hongxi's vitality and hint at Cuicui and Nuosong's budding love. Mountain song duets, where young men and women sing under moonlight, are simple yet romantic. In the 1940s, ethnologist Ling Chunsheng, researching Xiangxi, noted that Miao youth often chose partners through duets, with improvised lyrics full of emotion, mirroring Cuicui hearing Nuosong's songs. In his Xiangxi Miao research report, he wrote, mountain songs are the Miao youth's language, singing their hearts, conveying their love. Chadong's human warmth is pure. Shen Congwen's old ferryman offers free crossings, embodying selfless rural ethics. Shunshin, a wealthy boat owner, is generous, hosting neighbors during festivals. This warmth contrasts with modern society's utilitarianism. In 1947, sociologist Fei Hao Tong, in rural China, described village societies as acquaintance-based, rooted in trust and mutual aid, echoing Chadong's ethos. Chadong's charm lies in its cultural diversity. Xiangxi is a blend of Miao, Tujia, and Han traditions, weaving a vibrant tapestry in Chadong. For instance, the Miao's border market is a traditional venue for youth to meet, singing and exchanging tokens, much like Cuicui and Nuosong's encounter. The Tujia's crying marriage custom is poignant, with brides singing farewells to their hometowns before leaving. In Xiangxi, Shen Congwen wrote, the customs here carry an ancient poetry. This poetry is the essence of Chadong's human warmth. In the 1940s, ethnologist Tian Han recorded a Xiangxi story. A Miao youth, Agwo, sang with his beloved for 3 nights at a border market, but was separated by family disputes. This mirrors Cuicui's fate, reflecting Hongxi's romantic yet helpless love stories. Chadong's culture is not just the border townie's backdrop but a spiritual symbol, reminding us to cherish harmonious coexistence. Chadong's residents, from the ferrymen to dock vendors, treat each other with sincerity, forming a warm community. Yet, Chadong is no utopia. Shen Congwen notes dock vendors and lurking bandits, hinting at external influences. In the late Qing and early Republic, Xiangxi, post-Opium War, began engaging with foreign trade, impacting traditional lifestyles. In Xiangxi, Shen Congwen wrote, foreign boats brought goods and unrest. This subtle tension is the border townie's allure. Chadong's ethos is not just Cuicui's story's backdrop but Shen Congwen's ode to a pure life. 3. Cuicui's love lament. The border townie's heart is an unfinished love lament. Cuicui, a 16-year-old Xiangxi girl, lives simply with her grandfather, tending the ferry. Her love begins when she meets Shunshin's sons, Tianbao and Nuosong, but ends in tragedy due to misunderstandings, fate, and choices. Let's follow Cuicui's steps and relive this pure yet sorrowful tale. Cuicui's mother, a Chadong woman, loved a soldier, gave birth to Cuicui, and both passed away, leaving her with her grandfather. Shen Congwen wrote, Cuicui grew under sun and wind, her skin darkened, her eyes green, her nature gentle. Her purity is like Xiangxi's landscapes, clear and vibrant. At the Dragon Boat Festival, Cuicui first sees Nuosong and hears his bright mountain song, 3399, The Sparrow Calls Me. That moment plants love seed in her heart. Shen Congwen's delicate prose captures a girl's first flutter of love, Cuicui's shyness and anticipation vivid on the page. Both Tian Bao and Nuosong fall for Cuicui. Tian Bao, the elder, steady and honest, proposes through her grandfather. Nuosong, the younger, handsome and romantic, hesitates to confess. Shen Congwen's nuanced psychology shows Cuicui's innocence and confusion, Cuicui's heart felt weighed by a stone. Cuicui's love tragedy stems from her shyness and simplicity. Shen Congwen's portrayal of Cuicui's heart is exquisitely delicate, her every thrill and hesitation flowing into readers' hearts. When Nuosong sings under moonlight, Cuicui's heart pounds as if bursting, yet she can only look down silently. This girlish sentiment is both youth's thrill and fate's foreshadowing. Psychologist Carl Jung's archetype theory suggests human emotions stem from a collective unconscious. Cuicui's shyness and waiting fit the maiden archetype, pure and expectant, yet thwarted by external pressures. In reality, such psychology is common. In the 1910s, a Xiangxi woman, Bilian, separated from her betrothed by family arrangements, wrote in her diary, "My heart is like water, calm yet rippling." Bilian chose silence and died alone, her story mirroring Cuicui's. The border town reveals love's fragility and resilience in traditional society through Cuicui's inner world. She favors Nuosong but doesn't know how to express it. Learning of his brother's feelings, Tian Bao withdraws, sailing away alone only to die in a shipwreck. Nuosong, mistakenly thinking Cuicui preferred Tian Bao, leaves in grief, leaving Cuicui waiting at the ferry. Why does this love end in tragedy? First, a lack of communication. Cuicui's shyness, Nuosong's hesitation, and Tian Bao's sacrifice create a chain of misunderstandings. Shen Congwen wrote, "Everything needs fate. Without it, don't force it." Second, fate's cruelty. Tian Bao's death shatters all possibilities. Such stories aren't fictional. In the 1940s, Xiangxi writer Tian Han recorded a local tragedy. A Miao girl, parted from her lover by family opposition, died of sorrow. Her fate echoes Cuicui's. Cuicui's waiting is the border townie's most poignant scene. Shen Congwen ends, "This person may never return, or perhaps tomorrow." This open ending is both hope and endless solitude. Cuicui's love, like Xiangxi's mountain songs, sings of purity and regret. Similar emotions resonate in reality. In 19th century British novelist Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth nearly loses Darcy to misunderstandings, but they reunite, unlike Cuicui's endless wait. This contrast highlights the border townie's tragic power. 4. The White Tower's symbolic meaning. The White Tower, standing at Chadong's ferry, is the border townie's most vivid symbol. It's not just Cuicui and her grandfather's home but a metaphor for love and fate. Shen Congwen wrote, "Under the White Tower lived an old man and a girl, tending the ferry." The tower's meaning weaves through the book, worth savoring. The White Tower first symbolizes purity and protection. Chadong's ferry links both shores, the tower guiding travelers like a lighthouse, Cuicui and her grandfather's selfless ferrying a devotion. The tower's white echoes Cuicui's pure heart. Such imagery isn't rare in literature. In Dream of the Red Chamber, Jia Baoyu's jade symbolizes purity and spirituality, akin to the White Tower. The tower's steadfastness also suggests Xiangxi culture's resilience, guarding rural souls despite external pressures. In the early 20th century, Xiangxi's towers at ferries or village entrances were landmarks and spiritual anchors. Folklorist Hong Jingwen, in Introduction to Folklore, noted that towers in Chinese villages often symbolize protection and hope, aligning with the border townie's tower. Yet, the tower also carries loneliness and fate. After Tian Bao's death, the tower collapses, shattering Cuicui's hopes. Shen Congwen wrote, "The tower fell, and so did Cuicui's dreams." This is not just physical ruin but emotional fracture. Colombian writer Gabriel García Márquez, in Love in the Time of Cholera, uses a lighthouse to depict Fermina's lonely wait for love. Her seaside vigil mirrors Cuicui's at the ferry. This waiting is both love's persistence and fate's helplessness. In reality, such imagery abounds. 19th century Japanese artist Utagawa Hiroshige's 100 Views of Edo features lighthouses symbolizing travelers' longing, echoing the White Tower. The ferry, another key symbol, complements the tower. Cuicui and her grandfather's ferrying symbolizes human connection. The old ferryman rows daily, carrying neighbors, Shen Congwen writing, "The ferry carries human bonds." In Chinese tradition, ferries often signify life's transitions or soul guidance, like Buddhism's ferrying others. Tang poet Hang Ruoxu, in Spring River Flower Moon Night, wrote, "Life passes endlessly, the river moon ever the same." The ferry's imagery aligns with this quest for life's eternity. In world literature, ferries are common. In Greek mythology, Charon ferries souls across the Styx to the underworld, symbolizing life-to-death transitions. In the border town, the ferry is Cuicui's lifeline, yet hints at her drift in love and fate. In the 1930s, a Xiangxi ferryman, a Wang, was legendary for lifelong ferrying, yet died alone after his son left. His ferry, like Cuicui's, bore hopes and regrets. The White Tower also metaphors the boundary of tradition and modernity. In the late Qing and early Republic, Xiangxi faced commercial influences, the tower's fall symbolizing traditional life's collapse. Shen Congwen wrote in his diary, "Xiangxi's purity is being swallowed by external noise." The tower's imagery blends personal fate with epical change, provoking thought. It's not just Cuicui's love's witness but Xiangxi culture's microcosm in history's tide. Tradition vs. modernity. The border town is not just a love story but a portrait of Xiangxi's social shifts in the late Qing and early Republic. Chadong's tranquility contrasts with encroaching commercialization, Shen Congwen revealing tradition and modernity's clash through delicate prose. In the late Qing and early Republic, Xiangxi's remoteness preserved a closed rural society. Chadong's ferries, stilt houses, and mountain songs formed a self-sufficient ecosystem. Yet, external commercial tides quietly infiltrated. Shen Congwen wrote, "Chadong's docks grew louder with vendors' calls." The dock's bustle brought goods and utilitarianism, eroding bonds. Shunshan's thriving mill hints at economic pressures on Tianbao and Nuosong's love choices. The mill, a symbol of emerging industry, marks the shift from agrarian to commercial society. This tradition-modernity conflict echoes Shen Congwen's life. In the 1920s, he left Xiangxi for Beijing, witnessing urban splendor and indifference, feeling rural culture's loss. In Congwen's autobiography, he wrote, "I came from Xiangxi with earth on me, but no one understood." This outsider's sense spurred the border town, a tribute to Xiangxi's purity. In a letter, he lamented, "City lights are bright but don't warm hearts." The border townie's Chadong is his imagined ideal life. Similar scenes appear elsewhere. In the late 19th century, American writer Mark Twain, in Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, showed the Mississippi's pastoral life eroded by industry. Huck and Jim's raft, like Cuicui's ferry, symbolizes a quest for freedom and purity. Xiangxi and the Mississippi both grappled with modernization, striving to preserve tradition. In the 1900s, British poet Thomas Hardy, in Far From the Madding Crowd, depicted rural girl Bathsheba facing urban temptations, contrasting Cuicui's purity. In late Qing and early Republican Xiangxi, gender norms mixed tradition and openness. As a woman in a male-dominated rural society, Cuicui's love choices were subtly shaped by her grandfather and Shunshan's family. Shen Congwen wrote, "Though simple, Cuicui knew her heart." Yet, her shyness and passivity partly stem from women's roles in traditional society. In Miao culture, women could express love through songs but often followed family arrangements. In the 1940s, folklorist Song Howlin recorded a Miao woman, Xiangxi, who defied an arranged marriage, living alone in the hills, becoming a legend. Xiangxi's story mirrors Cuicui's love struggles. This gender tension appears in literature. 19th century British writer Charlotte Brant's Jane Eyre crafted Jane, who pursued love freely despite oppression. Unlike Jane's resolve, Cuicui's silent waiting shows another resilience. The border town reflects women's delicate position in traditional society through Cuicui's love, inviting reflection. Shen Congwen didn't blindly reject modernity. Through Shen's generosity and Cuicui's purity, he expressed faith in human goodness. But the tower's fall and Nuosong's departure hint at tradition's fragility. In the border townie's postscript, he wrote, "I wrote this to show a vanishing life." This clash is both the story's tragic root and its real-world relevance. Humanity's purity and loss. The border townie's core theme is a tribute to human purity and a sigh for its loss. Kui, the ferryman and Nuosong embody Xiangxi's warmth and love's purity, yet fall into loneliness and regret due to misunderstandings and fate. Cuicui's purity stems from her upbringing. Shen Congwen wrote, "Cuicui is like a mountain deer, simple and lively. Her love lacks worldly calculations, driven by instinct and heart." Psychologist Freud's attachment theory suggests childhood security shapes emotional patterns. Though an orphan, Cuicui's grandfather's love preserved her purity. Yet, her shyness and passivity led to love's loss. In the early 20th century, British poet Thomas Hardy's Tess of the D'Urbervilles shows Tess loving Angel purely but losing happiness to societal bias and miscommunication, echoing Cuicui. In reality, such tales abound. In the 1920s, a Xiangxi Miao girl, Alan, parted from her lover by family opposition, lived alone, never marrying. Her story, like Cuicui's weight, is heart-wrenching. The ferryman's selflessness and Shen's generosity reflect Xiangxi's mutual aid ethic. They embody rural society's human glow. The ferryman ferries without reward, Shen Congwen writing, "He never thought of himself, only others." This selflessness recalls 19th century Russian writer Leo Tolstoy's peasant Karatav in War and Peace, warming others with simple kindness. Shen, though wealthy, shares freely, hosting festival feasts showing trust in an acquaintance society. Yet, Tian Bao's death and Nuosong's departure reveal purity's fragility before fate. Psychologist Maslow's hierarchy of needs suggests humans seek belonging and love, but unmet needs breed loneliness. Cuicui's loneliness is not just personal but touches humanity's universal themes. Shen Congwen wrote, "Cuicui stood at the ferry, her clothes fluttering in the wind." This loneliness stems from love's loss and her alienation from the world. Psychologist John Cacioppo, in Loneliness, notes loneliness arises when belonging isn't fulfilled. Cuicui's weight embodies this longing and loss. Such loneliness recurs in literature and reality. In 19th century Russian writer Dostoevsky's The Idiot, Prince Mishkin is a pure yet isolated soul. His loneliness echoes Cuicui's vigil. In the 1920s, a Xiangxi youth, a Heng, wandered riversides after losing his love to family ruin, writing, "The river runs dry, but my longing doesn't." A Heng's tale resonates with Cuicui's solitude. The border town shows humanity's fragility and persistence in seeking love and belonging through Cuicui's vigil. Cuicui's waiting epitomizes this loneliness. Through these characters, Shen Congwen cherishes human purity while lamenting its loss in modern society. In the border townie's preface, he wrote, "I want to leave something true for this era." This truth is not just Xiangxi's ethos but humanity's glow and regrets. The border town asks, in a fast-changing world, how do we guard our inner purity? Epilogue, the border town's eternal echoes. The border town is a Xiangxi pastoral song and a mirror of humanity. Cuicui's unfulfilled love shows purity's power. Chadong's fading ethos leaves cultural echoes. The White Tower's fall, though sorrowful, urges us to cherish the present. And Congwen's The Border Town is not just a literary classic but a call to humanity and nature. In today's fast-paced life, can we still find Cuicui's purity? Shen Congwen wrote in Shang Travel Sketches, "All that is beautiful never vanishes." The border townie's beauty transcends time, still touching hearts. Its value lies in reminding us that, no matter how times change, human purity and nature's harmony are worth pursuing. The border townie's literary value lies not only in its artistry but in its modern inspiration. In today's globalized, urbanized world, Chadong's pastoral life is gone, but its spiritual core lives on. Shen Congwen's The Border Town teaches that purity and nature are humanity's eternal quests. In Xiangxi, he wrote, "No matter how the world changes, beauty and truth endure." This belief inspires us to find peace amid noise. Contemporary writers share this pursuit. Canadian writer Margaret Atwood, in The Handmaid's Tale, explores humanity's resilience under oppression, echoing Shen Congwen's guard of purity. In reality, Fenghuang, Hongxi's ancient town, is now a tourist spot, but its stilt houses and mountain songs endure. In the 2010s, a foreign traveler, Elena, lived in Xiangxi for 6 months, learning Miao embroidery, writing in her blog, "Xiangxi gave me a long-lost peace." Elena's experience affirms the border townie's universal value. May we draw strength from the border town, guarding purity in modern life. From Cuicui's story, let's find courage to preserve inner peace amid noise. From Chadong's ethos, let's feel nature and live in harmony with the world. From the White Tower's imagery, let's ponder fate and embrace life's impermanence. In a letter, Shen Congwen wrote, "I wrote The Border Town to make people believe love and beauty always exist." May we all find our own ferry and hope in our border town, bravely facing tomorrow's unknowns.